Now, why is spirituality important in understanding eye or eyesight? What is the goal? What is the goal that people are trying to get to? I mean, there's so many people who become spiritual seekers, and why? What is the goal trying to be achieved? And I'm going to tell you that there is a strength that is achieved or achievable. There is a knowledge base. There is a life transforming power that people can tap into once we have an awareness of these things. And had anyone told me these things many years ago, maybe even just a few years ago, no, many years ago, I would have thought it sounds very flowery and very exciting, but I wouldn't have believed it. And I want you to know that in spirituality, there's so many different ways we can look at things. What I will be discussing is something that you actually have power with. You are going to be growing with, because you do not have to believe anything. You do not have to follow a particular book. You do not have to do any particular reading that you have to do. You do need a willingness and an open mind to learn what can be learned, and then an openness to assimilating the information that's gained into your life experience. Now, the natural question would arise as to why would I want to know this? So, it is believed that one who attains this pure consciousness or this space or this realization is reaching enlightenment, right? So, this enlightenment is a space of complete freedom, this complete bliss, this complete oneness with all that is. And this space is such a beautiful space. And even if you've only get into that space occasionally, it is phenomenal. And I can tell you, I feel I have been in that space occasionally. And again, I don't know, because I don't know the infinite for sure, right? But I can definitely tell you that it is possible to touch it. And obviously, some people have lived it in their lives. They are those leaders that have come before us that have spoken of these things for so many centuries. And so this course is to help you try to get to that space with understanding these layers that are almost clouding what we know about ourselves or who I am. Welcome to our next section. Did you know that in a lot of philosophical thought, there's this whole idea of know thyself? And in Vedanta, which is non dual thinking, there is this idea of if you know thyself, you will know God. And this is a big statement, right? So if you know thyself, you will know God. And again, many religions feel that there's something godlike that comes through us, whether through the soul or through this higher self within us. And so this section is to kind of explore knowing ourselves to understand that I, the deep I. So let's start. There's this idea that the body, mind, intellect, that we're all layers of so many different things. We've got emotions, we've got thoughts, we've got feelings, we've got life experiences, and these are all layers in our human experience. And Vedanta feels this too. So, one of the ways of looking at ourselves is by trying to peel these layers and trying to understand that deep I. So, let's start with if I ask you, who are you? Who is I to you? And when you look at yourself, you'd say, well, this is I, of course. It's me. This is who I am. And of course, most people will point to their bodies. And what does that mean? I am my body, right? So here it is. Here I am. I'm sitting here. This is the space I take. This is me. And let's explore that. So there is an Upanishad, which is known as the Taittiriya Upanishad, which actually gives a step-by-step process as to how to do this. And that's what I'm going to actually utilize in helping you understand who I am or who you are. So let's go through the steps of inquiry or self-inquiry that is offered by this Upanishad. And this Upanishads, these are Vedic scriptures that have been written many, many years ago. and they've been tried, tested, and true. So I'd love for you to be able to get into at least this self-inquiry mode, which you'll be able to use in your entire life for all of your experiences, to understand who is the small I and who is the higher self I. What is that deep I, right? So you'll be able to use the same method of self-inquiry. There's 3 questions to ask when you're learning something. So first of all, you're listening and learning what is being taught, right? So you're hearing it, you're understanding at some level, because you're learning from either an instructor, like in this course, or you're reading from a book. And it's like, have I heard the information? Have I taken in the information? And this is all about listening carefully or reading carefully. Then, do I get it? Do I understand what was said? Because you know that you've gone to some courses and you really like the information, but did you get it? Could you repeat it? Could you express what you have learned? And then finally, is it real for me? This is what I love about Vedanta. It's very interesting through Vedic scriptures. It's not just about read it and believe it. It's not this blind faith idea. The idea is to assimilate the information. Is this real for me? Right? So, as we're going through this process of self inquiry, I'd like you to understand all of those steps. At first, you're listening, and then you're understanding, and then you try to find out, is this real for me? Okay, so let's move into this. Make a checklist for all of these sections that we go through in this course and see if all of these are checked off. A yes, yes, yes means you can go on to the next section. So literally, did I hear it? Okay. Do I understand it? Do I get it? Okay. Is it real for me? Okay. If those 3 are yes, move on to the next section. Okay. So here we go. Let's talk about the body. Do you know that they say that what we eat and assimilate into the body is what is creating this body? That we are just a mass of cells that is created from the food that we eat. So whatever we're eating, whatever we put in, is what is creating this body. And we know there's plants, there's minerals, there's chemicals that are in the foods that we eat. There are vitamins, there's nutrients, and it's all feeding us. And this is the mass that's creating our body. And this is an interesting concept, right? Because it's really true, right? Because if we didn't eat, we would not have this body. We would start losing mass, right? We would be malnourished. We would not be the I that we know our body is, right? So here is my body. And if I change my nutrition, I can become a bigger body, I can become a smaller body. Now we're also going to look at the body specifically, exactly from that perspective. We can ask a few questions about, who am I? When we look at the body, does the body change? Yeah, we can say the body changes, right? Now, do I change? Let's see. So the body is changing. The person that I remember was an infant, but I don't even remember those days. I was the person that this person was as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult. I was all of those, but I'm not any of those bodies now. I'm this body now. So this body has changed, but I am the same. So when we're looking at who I am, that sameness is one of the defining features of who I am. When something is changing, it's not who I am, right? Because I am that awareness that was aware of the childhood, was aware of the teenager years, was aware of when I've gained weight, when I've lost weight, when my body was able to do a function and not able to do a function. So all of these things, I am the same, right? But my body has changed, right? The body is a thing. Am I a thing? I don't feel like a thing. So, a lot of people will say, I'm not just an object, right? And you might have thought of these thoughts and recognizing that you are not. So, I am not an object, right? So if I look at my body, I'm not really thinking that's me, right? I am somehow within this body, somehow a part of this body. There's something that is an awareness of this body, but I'm not the object that is this body, right? So that's the other distinguishing feature, that pure consciousness is not an object. It is the awareness behind the object. So this body is an object. So we would know, if you look at your hand, you're never going to say, I am the hand, I am my shoulders, I am my face, I am my mouth, I am not any of these individual parts. I am the total, complete me. Yet, put all the parts of my body together, and I still don't think that that's me. That's the full I, or the awareness that's behind this body, right? So that's a second distinguishing feature. There is an object and there is the experiencer of the object. I am the experiencer of this object, right? There's also something about there is the seer and there is the seen, right? So we can see something. So I can pick up a cell phone and say, I see my cell phone case, right? So here's my cell phone. That is an object that I can see, but I am the seer that is seeing the object, right? So that's a little bit different than what the object is. So even if I see my body, I am seeing my body, I am aware of my body, but I am not the seen object, which is my body. So this is another clarifying feature. There's this idea of sentient versus insentient. So does my body have an awareness? Well, kind of, but is my hand aware of itself? Not really, right? It might be aware of pain and sensations, but it's not aware of itself, of here I am the hand, right? But I can look at my hand and be aware of my hand, right? So is it my eyes are aware? Well, when my eyes see anything, it's light flashing off of what I see that gives me the awareness of seeing this. That, translates into my lens in my eyes, and it's connecting with my brain, and then I'm understanding what I've seen, right? But there is this awareness. I am the awareness that sees this, right? So this is interesting. So sometimes we have an awareness, though we don't even see it, right? So, but there is this awareness. So I know that someone's standing beside me, though I haven't seen them, right? So this is an interesting thing, that there is an awareness which makes a sentient being, and there is the non-sentient. So there is this cell phone cover does not become aware of me. I am aware of it. So like this hand does not become aware of me. I am aware of it, right? So this is another difference. So we can again say the body is not aware and I am aware. So that's different, right? So then I am not the body. Another important detail was when we were thinking about the aging body or the growing body. The body is subject to change, right? Yet my awareness has not changed. I might not remember how I was as an infant, but I am the same as the awareness that was in the child, the awareness that was in the adolescent, the awareness that is here now. But the body has changed. The awareness has not changed, right? So that's an important distinguishing feature too. I am not my body. So then we can think about, oh, I know what you're saying. I am the thoughts that is aware of this body or this mind. So it's more my mind. It's my thoughts are aware of my experience or my body or objects around me or sentient or non-sentient experiences. It's my mind. I am my mind. I am understanding my consciousness is my mind.